The I disc style, oh, sorry, this mic, I'm not used to it, is super, super motivated by feedback, especially when it's positive. And to Clayton's point, assurance, knowing, encouragement, like, hey, you need to go fill this out. And then, awesome, they received it. Thank you so much. And like a little pat on the back, like almost like a pet in a way, but it's like they really thrive when they know they're doing well. Even if they know they're doing well, they love to hear it from others. So definitely add in that encouragement and assurance that they're doing well. They enjoy freedom, which is actually kind of comical because a high I doesn't really pay attention to detail. So sometimes you'd think maybe structure would make the most sense. And while it could, they definitely appreciate freedom to kind of go their own route, navigate it their own way. And they really enjoy a friendly, kind of fun environment where everyone can kind of relax and let loose and, take breaks. You can focus on something, but then take a break, take a breather, and then get right back into it. So it's all about that balance kind of between work and play. And lastly, they thrive when they can be the talker. So the leader, the presenter. I literally love my job because I get to do this every single day. So just interacting with people, again, that connection. So whether it's with others or their agents, they love to connect on a deeper level than just real estate. Okay, so that's where the storytelling comes in. That's where you guys realize, like, we have this in common. That's going to create a stickier appointment because they can relate to you. That is huge when it comes to a high I. And again, they enjoy working in teams. So unlike a high D, who's very much so like, my way, the highway, you can come with me, or I can just go by myself, it's fine. They very much so thrive when working with a group and as a team.
And the good news about that too is that means you are doing less work, right? Like the cool thing about working with profiles like this is you can just let them talk. You don't actually have to worry as much about how you're coming off, which I think is generally our MO, right? Like we're so worried about what other people think of us. Like, am I going to say the right thing? Did I prep enough? But the beauty about working with these type of profiles is they would prefer to be the ones to do all the talking. So as long as you're setting them up and you're being an engaging conversationalist, you're listening to them, you're giving them that feedback and letting them do the talking, they're actually very easy clients to work with if you can harness that within yourself or the need to like control the conversation as much, because they're going to feel that connection and they're going to like working with you if you're being their listener and you're letting them do the talking, right? Like that's what they like. So it's in some ways it's a little bit less stressful for us as the agents, because if we know that going in, like, hey, I'm just going to be mostly sitting back and listening and like making them feel good about me and building that relationship, like these can be very fun clients to work with because of that, right? They're going to choose if they want to work with you or not more based on whether they like you than whether, oh, you hit these certain metrics, right? For them, it's more of an emotional connection or a feeling that they get by working with you. So if you're able to give them that and relate to them, really listen to what they're saying and let them take the reins on the conversation, let them talk about what they want to talk about. Like it may be painful for you to hear about all the colleges that their kids are going to and all this stuff that you don't really care about, but like they want to talk about it. So we should let them talk about it, right? And we should get good at acknowledging them in that conversation, right? Oh, like that's so great. Tell me more about that. Or like, not just listening and nodding. Like they want to feel like you're engaging in the conversation with them. So using those little phrases and engaging eye contact, having a smile when you're talking with them, leaning forward, showing them that you're interested, they're going to feel naturally very good about that relationship because you're open and you're letting them do their thing. You're letting them display and be the presenter or the center of attention. So just something to think about when you're working with those clients. So I want to talk a little bit about how to work with, I know I mentioned at the beginning, we talked about the SI, the DI, and the I in general. So we'll kind of start with a broad overview. So we know that friendliness and that personal relationship is the most important thing with working with an I. So we want to be friendly here. So the more friendly, the better with these people is, like I mentioned, their decision-making is based off of if they like you than necessarily if they think you're qualified or, or whatever else. Sure, that matters as well. But their initial gut reaction is going to be, do I like this person? Do I feel good when I'm talking to them? Do I like the energy that they're bringing to me? So we want to make sure that we're spending a lot of time on rapport building. With a D, you're not going to do that as much. They would prefer to get to the point about business, but you're going to spend way more time talking about their family, what they like to do for fun, maybe the details of their house, what they did to it, right? You're going to have a lot more of that, like for lack of a better word, fluff with high I people, because that's what makes them happy. So something to consider whenever we're meeting with them. So we want to be friendly and we want it to be a favorable environment. We also want to make sure that we allow time for social activities. So in the workplace, like if you're working with people, like generally if you want to ask a favor for somebody who's a high I, it's good to just check in with them, see how they're doing, not just immediately ask for the favor, right? Like it's probably going to go a lot farther if you appeal to them that way. Same for clients, right? Like at the, allow time to talk about it before you get into business so they can feel that rapport. And then giving them lots of opportunities to verbalize their ideas, right? Like that's something that generally lights high eyes up. They want to talk about their ideas, that excites them. Letting them talk, letting them bring up their ideas and validating them for what they have. I put this in here as well, like it may take some planning to turn ideas into action. So one way you can help high eyes is be the action part of their ideas, right? So generally high eyes have a lot they want to contribute, but they may not be executing right away. Like they're the type of people who have all these good ideas, but maybe they don't know what to do next or how to start that. So one thing that you can do to build better rapport with them is fill that gap in for them. Like if they, know they want this, this, and this in their house and this, and this, your job would be to say, okay, great. I know X, Y, and Z. The next step is blank, right? You're taking that the bulk of that work for them, that emotional labor to execute by being the person that says, okay, then here's our plan, knowing that this is what you want. Hey, I think this is a great idea. Here's what we're going to do next. So having those next steps for your high I clients each time is going to make them feel like you are in control and that they don't have to worry about the fine details. So these are the people that you're really going to want to be clear about your expectations with your next steps. So that way it moves the process along and not just get stuck on the fluff and stuck on what they want to talk about. Because at the end of the day, of course, we want to build rapport with them. We want to have that relationship, but we also, it's our responsibility to make sure that we're not just wasting our time for 4 hours at one appointment, right? So we need to listen to them enough to make sure that we're building that rapport, but also we're responsible for guiding the conversation to where it needs to go. It can also help them. It can also help them to have somebody who's doing the detail work, writing the stuff down, checking back on occasion. Like Clayton mentioned, these are the people who are going to need more of those reminders. It's like on the listing side, if you know that photographers are coming and you think, oh, we talked about it already, they would appreciate a text. Hey, just so you know, this is what's happening next. Or, hey, these docs are due, right? Or, hey, just checking, are we still on for that showing on Friday? They're generally not detail oriented. So you'll save yourself some hassle as well if you're getting in front of them to remind them.